something, but he said, if you love me, you keep my commandments.
Yep.
So if we are, as Christians, I would say, if we are partaking in sexual activities, whether it's having a partner, masturbating, pornography, whatever, you're not keeping the commandments because you're living in that sin. So the biggest thing why people should be celibate is to keep the commandment. And if you look at the Bible, it's so many different stories in the Bible that showed sexual sin has caused so many downfalls.
Man.
You can start with Samson, right?
Yep.
Samson.
Yep. Like, all right, so when you give into that spirit of lust, right, it causes confusion and delusion, right? You cannot think straight. I'm sure everybody in this room did something stupid for a nut.
Man.
I'm sure of it.
Yo.
In our
100.
lifetime, we've all did something stupid for a nut. And it's crazy because I've witnessed people's sexual sin cause blindness. People's sexual sin cause death, whether it was death on them or death on their children. If you look at it like David gave into sexual sin with Bathsheba. He saw Bathsheba bathing, and he sent for Uriah and then got Uriah killed, and then took his wife. And God was like, no, that ain't happening. So what God did was that firstborn child between Bathsheba and David was it died. Yeah. And David fasted for 8 days, whatever. And he was like, no, I'm a man of my word. You sinned against me, I'm taking this child. And then long story short, they had Solomon. We're not going to get on Solomon because we all know what Solomon did.
We know about Solomon.
Solomon was a different breed. But even if you look at the story of Joseph, right? I like Joseph's story because Joseph had one hiccup after the other. And just because when Potiphar's wife was like, yo, Joseph, I want that, I need that, right? Joseph was like, no. His words were, I am not going to sin against God, and I'm not going to sin against Potiphar, Potiphar, because that's my master of this house. And if Joseph would have given into that sin, he would not have had the things that God had for him, because he became second in command of all of Egypt. It was Pharaoh, and then it was Joseph. So he was basically the vice president of all of Egypt. So, I mean, there's a lot of rewards. There's a pastor, Philip Anthony Mitchell.
Yes.
And he'd tell his story, and him and his wife, his girlfriend at the time, they were, before marriage, they were getting it in. And then he felt convicted, and he stopped. He was like, listen, we're not going to do anything else until we get married, right? So they cut it short, and he got blessed for that. Like, God blessed almost every aspect of his life and the marriage life. And I want to say this, if you meet somebody and you're dating somebody and you guys are both being disobedient and you're actively engaging in that activity, you've already cursed your marriage. Your marriage is going to have so many different hiccups, and a lot of them, and this is why marriages don't last, because a lot of people started their marriage in disobedience. And they didn't start their marriage with an obedient foundation of God. And it's like some marriages don't survive from that. It's like, okay, we never really we're Christian, but we never put God in the center. So it's like, okay. And there's so much sex in the church. I'm going to just be real.
Man,
Christians,
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, Christians, the problem is, it's everywhere in the Bible. Jesus said in one passage, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in him? Have we not done all these things in your name? And Jesus said, depart from me, you evildoer, whatever. And that's one passage. And then Jesus also said in Matthew, the road to life is narrow, and then the road to destruction is wide. So that's another passage saying most Christians aren't going to make it. And then if you read Revelation 1-3, it talks about the 7 churches. And out of those 7 churches, there's only 2 churches that are doing the right thing. So that tells you right then and there, majority of the churches and Christians are out of pocket. So when people say there's a lot of sex,
and then they have followers that's going to that church and trying to,
I'm not surprised at churches having a ton of sexual sin, because there's single women lusting after the pastors, lusting after ministers. Bruh, I get looks every Sunday, and they know I'm married and I'm on the pulpit playing piano and stuff. Even I get people staring at me.
But then I also hear about pastors, like the prominent pastors, having porn addiction or having sex with someone. Remember, you hear
when
about
you're
that.
in that office of like leadership, you get attacked left and right, and especially with musicians, right? Musicians. Let's get a little deeper, right?
Let's go.
The angel that was over the music in heaven, right, was Lucifer, right? Lucifer was that guy, right? He was the most beautiful angel. He was the man, and pride took over or whatever. So I'm losing my train of thought. So yes, musicians, the biggest thing musicians struggle with is either homosexuality or lust. This is why the music industry is hypersexual.
Yep.
And this is why so many musicians and worship leaders in church are gay and undercover. So it's just like, even me, I'm a musician. I struggle with lust. I was a horny kid. I ran through most of my things.
Been there. I've been there, dog.
But as a drummer, I dated most of my church and moving to piano. Like, girls used to pull me to the side after Sunday and just want to make out in the bathroom. Like, randomly. I'm like, yo, I didn't even ask for this. But me as a young kid and horny, did I say no? Of course, I went with it. But again,
I don't have to feel as bad. I've done my sin in the church as well.
Yeah, we struggle like musicians.
I never dated anybody in the church.
No,
I've been a part of churches all my life. Yeah,
stay away from musicians.
I never wanted to. I didn't want people knowing my business. I didn't date with people in church.
Musicians are wild.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But yeah,
man, that's crazy. That's good stuff, though. Hafiz, I got a question for you. So, say you're dating a girl, right? And say everything's going good. Sex is great, amazing. You guys are going out. Everything is amazing. You guys are growing. But, the sex, everything is good. And it's consistent. Maybe you guys are 6 months in. But then she stop you and say, Hafiz, I love what we are doing. I love you. I like what we're doing right now. Sex, everything is amazing.
I think I know where you're going. I think I might answer this before, but go ahead.
But she says, hey, I want to be celibate because I want to get closer to God. And I think we both can benefit from this. But granted, you might not be there. But she's there. But for 6 months, everything has been cool. It's been straight.
You wrong for this.
It's real though.
I've been in that situation before where I was having sex for a while. We was doing our thing, like he said, and then she had a conversation with me. Hey, I want to get closer to God.
She felt convicted.
She felt convicted.
She felt that Holy Ghost fire just.
But at that time, I had to let her go because I wasn't there yet, and I wasn't going to be the man that's going to hold her back because I know God knows my heart, and I know that if I would have held her back.
And it also say do not cause your brother or your sister to stumble.
I couldn't do that.
And if you would have stayed, you would have caused her to stumble, and you would have been judged
and
harshly for that.
I mean, it just depends on like maybe where I'm at in my life. Maybe my younger years probably would have just maybe like, okay, that's fine. I respect that. Maybe just parted ways.
I would have cheated in my younger years.
If we got a good vibe and I feel like she like potentially be the one she's bringing because at this point
value.
I was about to say that at this point if she's adding more value to my life beyond the physical, then that could be something that I could probably work with.
He going straight to Jared and get a ring that day.
I used to run when women used to talk that celibate, I'm waiting to marriage. That used to be the very thing that runs away. That used to be the very thing that just pushes me away. Cause I'm like, gotta go because like you said, you started with sin, so I'm thinking, all right, why not just continue on this sin journey? I wasn't thinking big. I wasn't thinking big picture. I wasn't thinking big picture like that at that time.
Okay.
Young, dumb, full of cum. You know how it is. We was all young.
Most people are. A lot of guys are young and dumb. I mean, you don't really use your up here head until like your 30s. Before your 30s, you think with your other head. All through your younger years.
Like when you're older, well, naturally, hopefully most guys have kind of progressed in their life. So now they're looking at, okay, I done got some things established for myself. Now I need to see what else she can bring as far as value besides just the physical looks in here. So I think, like you said, you start trending that way and